Mid-size MPVs. These are the no-nonsense practical family cars for those who sometimes need enough space to carry 7 people.
But which should you choose between the great value Kia Carens, the stylish Citroen C4 Picasso and the all-new Volkswagen Touran? MPV group test, yay, party, so excited! Sorry.
To help you decide, I'm going to compare their people-carrying capability.
Even when you're in the cheap seats, you don't feel like a second-class citizen because headroom's actually all right.
Test what they're like to drive.
Feels a bit like you're driving round in a goldfish bowl.
See how practical they are.
Where is everyone supposed to put their stuff? All right, fights back.
Examine what you get for your money.
You are paying extra for that badge.
And have a little race.
What a fiddle. What a fiddle. Oh.
But let's start with the styling. Now, this may seem odd because you don't buy an MPV for its looks. Or do you?
The C4 Picasso is actually a surprisingly cool looking thing. You know, it's an MPV you actually want rather than just need.
There's neat details like the upside down lights, the interesting colour palette, and the 3D effect rear lights of this high-spec car. Inside, the Picasso looks just as good with a refreshingly quirky French design. There's very few buttons on the dash as you control things through the touchscreen. Shame it's fairly slow to respond and clunky to use. It also overcomplicates things.
So to change the temperature, you have to first find and press this button and then scroll down on the touchscreen. And that's much more of a faff when you're driving than just turning a knob.
The Volkswagen Touran, in comparison, has a superior infotainment system, which is just slicker to use and better connected. And while the interior design lacks the wow factor of the Citroen, it's all just more logical to use. And overall, the materials feel higher quality. Shame, though, about the exterior design.
Did VW really have to make it look so achingly dull? In fact, I think this car should come with a public health warning because of the risk it could induce narcolepsy in other road users.
Who, 10 years ago, would have thought that a Kia would be more alluring than a Volkswagen? While certainly no work of modern art, the Carens still looks far more interesting than the dull VW. As for the inside, well, while the infotainment system is okay to use, the interior design is just a little bit dull. It reminds me of Korean cars of the past.
It all feels a little bit more, well, plasticky than the other two, though ironically it'll probably outlast the Europeans.
But when it comes to carrying 7 people, it's the worst here. While comfy with 3 in the middle row, it's only really an occasional 7-seater, as headroom is very tight in the rearmost seat. And to give those passengers enough space for their legs, the people in the middle row actually have to slide their chairs forward, and that affects their comfort. The Citroen is better in the very back, but not by much due to the tight headroom. Legroom is fine though, even with all 3 rows in use. And the middle row is comfy, plus it's the only car here to have 3 chairs the exact same size, so the person in the middle is less compromised. Overall though, it's the Touran that feels the most spacious. It's as roomy in the middle row as the Picasso, and because the seats are higher, you feel more comfortable. And this, plus the larger windows, make it feel less claustrophobic. It's the best, with all 3 rows filled too.
Getting into the very back is easiest in the Touran, and even when you're in the cheap seats, you don't feel like a second-class citizen because headroom's actually all right.
It's not just the space that's important on these cars though, how easy the seating system is to operate also matters. So, we're going to have a race. Though not that kind of race, a race transforming these cars into van mode.
3, 2, 1, go! Now I've got to run around the back. The rearmost seats, how to get in the boot. There it is. Done.
So, will the Citroen fare any better?
3, 2, 1, go. Now I know I have to pull one of these levers, but is it this one? No, it must be that one. Too much choice in the Citroen. There we go, that's down. Get my finger through there, come on. There we go. Just this last one now. Can't just do like that. Oh no, didn't work, you have to really pull it up hard. Got to slide this back now. There we go. I've got to run round to the back to do the rears. Oh no, this car's got an automated tailgate. I've got to fold this back, fold this down, fold that back, fold that down now. Put this back to get a flat low base, like blooming origami. What a fiddle, what a fiddle. Oh, right, run back round and then do these bits to make it flat here in the middle. Whew. And there we go. Bit of a faff, and I've worked up a sweat.
Finally, we come to the Touran.
3, 2, 1, go! Oh my gosh, that mechanism's so easy. It's a cinch. I can do the back seats from here, done. Perfect for families in a rush.
And that brings us on to practicality. The Touran can carry very little with all its seats in place, though you can store the load cover under the false floor. With the rear row folded down though, there's enough load capacity for a family of 5. And with everything folded, the space is massive. Plus the front passenger seat folds down too if you need to carry really long items. Wide opening doors and Isofix fittings on all second and third row seats means fitting a child seat is the easiest of all the cars here. Plus the Touran has the best cubby spaces with 47 individual storage compartments in total. In-car storage is also pretty good in the Citroen, though the glove box and the rear door bins are a bit small. Fitting a baby seat is easy enough, though not quite as easy as in the Volkswagen. Also, you can't carry the load cover under the floor, but the front seat back does fold forward to carry longer items. And with all the seats folded, the Picasso has the most carrying capacity. In fact, it's the biggest car in every configuration and is the only one here with enough space to carry a child stroller with all its seats up. But it's still a squeeze.
It's a problem with all these cars, you know, with 7 seats in place, where is everyone supposed to put their stuff? All right, fights back. Ow.
The Carens boot is the smallest of the 3 cars here in each seating configuration, though with the seats folded it's still big enough for most people and very useful with all of them down. However, the sloping roofline means you need to load items through the rear doors rather than the boot to pack the car as full as possible. Still, there is some useful underfloor storage, but unlike with the other 2 cars, the front passenger seat doesn't fold, and while cubbies are okay, they are the least special here. Still, fitting a baby seat is as easy as in the Citroen. But while these cars are all about practicality, that doesn't mean how they drive isn't important too.
Whichever model you go for, the Touran is reasonably pleasant to drive. So it's based on the Golf platform, and as a result it steers, grips and corners well enough. Now, not claiming it's in any way, shape or form fun, but it doesn't feel all ponderous and van-like. It's very, very much like just a big, tall hatchback to drive. And, you know, this car, you can, if you want, to pay extra and get different driving modes. And that gives you a sports button. But having a sports button on an MPV is a bit like fitting running spikes to your slippers. Pointless. You can also pay extra to have some optional adaptive suspension, but really there's no need because, well, the standard setup is comfy enough over the bump, so yeah, don't bother with that.
This Touran has the 1.6 litre diesel, which is more than up to the job, and I'm averaging 53 miles per gallon. I didn't do quite so well with the Citroen though. That only managed 44 miles per gallon, but there's a reason for that.
This is the 2-litre diesel automatic version of the Picasso, and it's all right. I'm getting 44 miles per gallon, but I think most people are going to be better off with the 1.6-litre diesel because it's quick enough and it's more economical. I actually prefer that 1.6-litre diesel than the one that you get in the Touran. On the whole, though, this Picasso isn't quite so good to drive. It's fine, right? Most people would be more than happy, but it doesn't quite ride over bumps as well, and it's not quite as quiet as a Volkswagen either. The VW is a bit more sure-footed when you chuck it into a corner, but like I say, that's not going to bother too many people. And well, the Volkswagen doesn't have a feature that this does, which is really cool. Check this out. Hey, look at that panoramic windscreen. Feels a bit like you're driving round in a goldfish bowl. Right then, driving the Kia. So, I'm going to keep this brief. This car will get you and your family from A to B, and it shouldn't cost you too much to do that because even from this auto, I'm averaging 48 miles per gallon, which isn't bad. It's comfy enough, you know. The only problem is that it does roll quite a bit in the corners, so some people might find that a bit nauseating. Also, the 1.7 litre diesel in this car, it's got enough performance, but when you put your foot down, it's pretty rough and noisy that it could wake your children from sleeping, and you wouldn't want that, would you? So yeah, I mean, that's really about all I have to say on the matter of driving this car, other than I guess it's a car and you can drive it.
So then, let's talk about the costs. Well, the Kia Carens starts from £18,195, the Citroen £20,195 and the Volkswagen £22,240.
You are paying extra for that badge. But range-stopping versions of the other 2 cars make no sense because both the Citroen and the Kia are fully loaded versions and they cost more than this mid-level Touran, which actually has all that you need.
And that brings us neatly to the final verdict. Which of these MPVs is the best buy?
The Kia is great value for a family and it has a 7-year warranty. The Citroen, it's both big and beautiful, but it's the Volkswagen Touran with its well thought out practical cabin which fulfills the brief best of a mid-sized 7-seater MPV. And that's why it wins this test. Click over there for the in-depth video reviews of each of the cars in this test, and if you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it and subscribe to our channel. Now, did you know there are only £500 worth of options fitted to all the cars in this test? They were 360-degree cameras on the Citroen and some floor mats on the Volkswagen, none on the Kia.